Hi guys, and welcome back to another DrAce video, and today we're going to be playing MotoGP 21, continuing on with our Moto2 World Championship in career mode. It's now time for round 10 of Assen. Now, Assen being one of my most favourite tracks of all time, I absolutely adore this circuit. The cathedral of the motorcycle racing community, everything is just so special here in Assen. Definitely one of the Grand Prix tracks I want to go to in the near future as we just get ahead of Celestino Vietti as he goes a little bit wide into turn 3. But I feel like this could be the one to get us back on track. Recently our races haven't been so grand in Moto 2 right now. Of course, Sachsenring not very good. Catalunya, you can definitely say the same in that particular venue as well. But here in Assen, we want to bounce back and we want to do it better today than we have done all season. We could very well return to pole position ways and winning ways here this weekend, or this day, let's say. So of course, if you aren't aware, I do the qualifying sessions at 4 PM and then the Grand Prix itself at 8 PM. So make sure if you're watching this video right now, you hit that subscribe button so you can see the race at 8 PM tonight. But going into the difficult left-hander in a moment's time, a corner that usually catches me out. I either go too tight or go a little bit too wide into DeBolt, but this time we didn't do too bad. As we now go onto the right-hand side for Mandevin. Hold the line there. You can actually run it a little bit wider there, but I went for a more tighter line. But by doing so, you kind of put a pressure on the rear tyre onto the right-hand side of the rear tyre. So I'm going to probably fool around with that throughout the weekend and see what we can do. But right now, down by 9/10 of a second to Raul Fernandez. I am only utilising power setting 2 for the time being. I don't think we'll need power setting 3 to get into the qualifying positions. But if we do, I will probably chuck it up, because of course we tried the power setting 2 in Sachsenring, which didn't fare too well. But right now, across the line we go for our very first lap time, and that is good enough for 3rd place, down by 0.8 of a second to another championship protagonist in Raul Fernandez. Marco Bezzecchi in 2nd place. I think he took a podium last time out, 3rd place for him in Sachsenring. He's definitely looking for a victory. We are yet to see him at the top step of the podium this season, but I'm sure it's going to come sooner rather than later. It's just a matter of time for Marco Bezzecchi to start chucking in some brilliant races and start chucking in more and more better competitive races, let's say, for his championship challenge. So exiting the first sector, we are down by 0.2 of a second, but still up compared to our previous time, so that is a very positive sign for the Moto 3 World Champion, and of course the Moto 2 Championship leader. We only lead just barely now ahead of Remy Gardner. We have to make sure we can continue to chuck in some more points, because that championship lead is dwindling. It has a pretty nice lead towards the first part of the season, especially after the hat-trick of victories, but now it's looking a bit bleak. Remy Gardner is on a charge. Remy Gardner with all the confidence right now after winning in Sachsenring, quite demandingly as well actually, with Sam Lowes and Marco Bezzecchi trailing behind. 9/10 of a second up to our previous lap time. We'll get a better understanding in a minute as we go into Sector 3. Let's hold a nice tight apex here for turn 12. Coming into the very fast section, Sector 3 is upon us, and we are up by 3.5 of a second, which will put us nice and firmly at the top ahead of Raul Fernandez. Brilliant exit there as Jake Dixon now inserts himself into the top position. We might be dethroning our teammate across the line in a moment's time. Going to the left-hand side for turn 17, to the right for turn 18, and across the line we go. We do not quite get to the top position, but we do get a 10th behind teammate Jake Dixon, and then instantly Sam Lowes chucks in another lap time there that puts him firmly at the top, where 1:38.671. We'll continue to trail Hector Garso now. We might be able to get a bit of extra assistance, if you will, by trailing him around the track. Bit of slipstream here and there, bit of understanding of his lines. He takes a very tight apex there, going into Strubben. Turn 5, a nice acceleration out of the corner for Grant. Get right into the slipstream. Oh, 31,000 of a second off the pace from Sam Lowes' sector time. But there is Jake Dixon with 2 red sectors for him, and Sam Lowes with 1 red sector, as Grant now chucks onto the left-hand side of the tyre for the Russian hook. Very fast corner, that one, as we now try and get onto the right-hand side, down by 58,000 of a second, so very, very close. Augusto Fernandez in 4th place with a personal sector. He could still definitely make an impression on the first 2 positions as Grant chucks it up on the inside into DeBolt. Hector Garso's had to give up the lap, but I'm sure he wasn't doing anything too particular special that one anyway. There's Sam Lowes. Now Bo Benschneider jumps into the 3rd position, knocking us off the top 4 spots, or the top 3 spots rather. We are still currently in 4th place. Augusto Fernandez fastest in Sector 2. Aaron Canet chucking in some personal best sectors as well. Sector 3 complete, down by 1/10 of a second. This is probably not going to be enough for the Moto 3 World Champion, the man from England. What can he do? We're going to run it a little bit wide, and that has invalidated this particular lap. We'll continue the lap nonetheless to see where we would have finished. We'll get across the line and see the lap times, but we're not going to be an improvement after we slowed down quite a bit. So at the end of free practice, Sam Lowes leads the way with a 1:38.423. Jake Dixon 0.3 of a second behind, and the same can be said for Bo Benschneider and Grant just a further 10th behind. So it is now qualifying time here in Assen, and the heavens have opened. It is now a wet session right now in the Dutch GP. Not so sure how we're going to cope here in the wet, but nonetheless we still embrace the challenge as we always do. So looking at the pre-qualifying, we are already in the top 10, of course, so we will be fighting with the riders for Q2 for pole position. Back on track now with the Petronas SRT Calyx rider, DrAce, Matt Grant, as you may know him. Now, the idea today is to try and get the best qualifying possible, but at the same time, I'm not too concerned. We don't really know how our pace is going to be in the wet, and at the same time, I'm not too concerned with qualifying further behind because I can be rather aggressive here in this magnificent track, and I do know it really, really well. So I think that even if we don't qualify too particularly well, I do feel we still have a great chance of chucking in some very fast and consistent lap times within the race to try and chase down a couple of riders. But into the first sector we are down by 9.5 of a second to Marco Bezzecchi, the Italian, leading the way with Xavi Vierge and Bo Benschneider in second and third respectively. Just ahead of us on track is teammate 1 of 2, Xavi Vierge. Of course, he is in second place right now in the session. Now, he is further ahead enough of us to sort of not really give us a slipstream, but at the same time he will give us a reference. So going into De Bolt, we can use his reference as a nice tight apex there as we get really close to the apex, actually touching the rumble strip, something I tend to do quite often by braking a little bit too gentle. So now going to Mandevin, you can go quite wide there and touch the rumble strip to give you that extra sort of line going into Dukersloot. As we now go into the very fast and difficult section, it's very easy to make a mistake here into turn 12. So easy just to either go too wide and onto the green, or go too tight and cut the corner. I tend to do both, so I have to be very careful in those particular corners, and the same can be said here for the Ramshook, as we make a little bit of a mistake, and that is lap 1 completely ruined. But we'll try again now, still behind Xavi Vierge, so it's okay. We only made a little minor mistake, but we did lose quite a lot of time. Actually, we lost a massive amount of time to Xavi Vierge. We are now down by 2.2 seconds, which puts us 6th place, because I don't think the rest of the guys behind us have even competed for a particular lap yet. We're into the hard block for turn 1. Entered beautifully there. Hopefully we can do the same now for turn 2 and turn 3. Trying to get back onto the rear of Xavi Vierge. We just lost the front. Oh, another crash, another mistake for Grant. So back to the pits to wipe ourselves down and try and recompose. The bike came back to the pits and we are now ready to tackle this track once again. Big mistake coming in there from Grant. Really disappointing there. As Nicola Buliga's going to get right in the way. Nick Buliga, why? Nicola Buliga just got right in the way there. Completely ruined another lap. So Grant has had to do another long lap around the track, waiting for an opportunity. Goodness me, what an absolute disaster this qualifying session has been. Right now we're going to be looking at starting at 18th place, and Raul Fernandez has just done the same thing. This is unbelievable. How can we have such hard luck in such a magnificent track? What a disaster for the Moto2 World Championship leader right now. Buliga messed that lap up, and now Raul Fernandez messed the other one, and Grant's messed this one up as well. It's over, ladies and gentlemen. Session over. What a devastating qualifying for the man who's usually quite dominant here at Assen. That is an absolute disgrace. Starting from 18th place on the grid is going to be absolutely dire. We are going to have one of the best performances of a season to try and compete with these guys in the front. And I'll tell you what, Remy Gardner, we mentioned him earlier, confidence brewing, takes another pole position with Sam Lowes and Marco Bezzecchi on the front row. So guys, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment and subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be alerted to every single DrAce upload, and I'll see you tonight for the Grand Prix at 8 PM. Thanks for watching, guys, and ciao for now.
Oh hi, didn't quite see you there. Good to see you're still here. If this video didn't quite sate your appetite, then why not watch some more DrAce content by clicking the video shown on screen now. Furthermore, if you would like to follow me on social media, you can do so now with the links down in the description. Consider subscribing so you don't miss a single DrAce video.